And it's my friend Tony Miller, who's marketing director at WW, formerly known as Weight Watchers. His talk is entitled Wellness Without Limits, Creating an Always-On Brand Through Technology. Tony, over to you.
Great, thank you very much. Really excited to be here, and thanks for joining me for this next 10 minutes while I kind of take you through our journey. Before we get into it though, just a bit on who we are. We are a wellness company powered by the world's leading sustainable weight loss program. We've been on this journey for the last 57 years, and through that journey, we've constantly been innovating and transforming. What started with 6 people in one living room now helps over 5 million people globally. And I know that the theme for this year is about forward looking. But before we can go forward, I need to take a step back and bring you on the journey we've been on through the last year. As we all know, it's March last year. COVID has just landed and everything starts to grind to a halt. But no one knows really the full extent of it and how long it's going to be and what lockdown really is going to mean. All that we could see as a brand was that sales started to slow down. And as a brand that is known primarily for their in-person workshops and helping members physically with their wellness journey, what are we to do? How are we to continue if we physically can't meet our consumers where they are? And how do we reverse this downward trend in sales fast? The first thing we had to do was weigh up the risk of doing something completely different, going into the unknown versus doing nothing. I mean, for all we knew, this could have been 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Do we sit tight and wait it out? Fortunately, we do have an app that powers all of our programs, so our members could have that as their go-to kind of in this time. But actually, 70% of our members rely on this in-person workshop, and they actually are paying a premium price to meet with their coaches on a weekly basis, to connect and commune with the community for accountability. So how do we still give them this extra support when they can't actually leave their home? And how do we make sure it is still providing them value for money? Well, what we did was no mean feat. We actually moved all of our physical workshops over to virtual workshops globally within 6 days. We got all of our coaches trained on how to use Zoom. We got them to deliver their in-person workshop virtually, and then started to encourage all of our members to attend their physical workshop online. There was a lot of change we had to kind of overcome to get people to, 1, understand a platform that they potentially knew nothing about, and 2, to really feel connected over this virtual experience that potentially was foreign to them. In addition, COVID had shifted the way our consumers think. The research that we were conducting during this time, based on the onset of lockdown, people obviously felt distracted from their typical health and wellness routine. Stress levels and anxiety levels were at an ultimate high. Healthy eating and exercise habits were quickly deprioritized. And as a result, we knew that over half of our audience reported significant weight gain. This allowed us an opportunity to really meet consumers like we never had before. We had to become relevant in their lives on a daily basis and provide that reassurance that we could help them prioritize their health and wellness and encourage them on their weight loss journey. We understood that people were connecting differently. They wanted a different way to be entertained. They were looking for trust and transparency from brands that they could relate to and help them. Health and wellness were heightened. So what could we do to tap into this, to be 1, emotionally connected to them, and 2, relevant in their lives and reassure them that we could help them on what they were going through. We added things like live experiences under the umbrella of our Healthy Body, Healthy Mind that included exercise classes they could join, cooking at home sessions, and weekly travel guides where they can actually see other places of the world. We provided them an experience over Zoom in Venice, being guided around Venice by a tour guide. So they automatically felt connected and that we were relevant in their lives, helping their distractions from daily life. The second thing we did was really lean into consumer insight. We moved away from seasonal patterns and changed how and when we spent our money. We realized we couldn't rely on the status quo. We had to listen to our consumers' needs. We stood up weekly COVID trackers so that we could understand day in and day out, week in and week out, how people were feeling and thinking and how that changed over the course of the length of our lockdown. We pulled away from our spring campaign because we didn't know what was going to happen, but we knew we had an autumn campaign that was too far away, and we needed to act fast to help reverse this trend in downward sales. We took a punt and actually pulled all of our autumn campaigns up to June, which was completely unheard of, not just for our industry, but for the business alone. June has never been a good month for us to actually connect with people on a weight loss and wellness journey. But we knew we had to act fast, and we knew we had to capitalize at a time when people weren't going anywhere and there was hardly anybody else on TV. And the punt paid off. Our June TV was our best performing campaign of 2020, outperforming our winter campaigns, which traditionally and always has been the best campaign in our brand. In addition, we stood up monthly challenges really to kind of connect with where they were. Coming out of lockdown 1, when people were out and about, we started to move more with WW campaign, encouraging people to get outside for 30 minutes a day and move. When lockdown 2 happened again, frustrations rose, anxiety came back. And so we had to input another challenge to actually encourage people to set specific and tangible weekly and daily goals so that they could focus on the here and now and not get distracted with how long they were going to be in this situation again. It gave people a focus on keeping on track with their healthy habits. And then when we entered lockdown 3, when people could only exercise once a day with one person, we stood up our Walk to Wellness series, where we encourage people to get out and use that exercise time, but actually walk and talk virtually with a community of members. So traditionally, the government only allowed you to walk with one person outside. What we set up was a virtual community, so you could walk with hundreds of like-minded people, curated by various celebrities and our coaches, encouraging people to talk about how they were feeling and how they were working on their health and wellness. The third thing we did was focus on our Heartland, the app and our amazing community, whilst continuing to innovate. We have an app that is actually a personalized wellness platform that provides all of our members the content, the coaching, and the community, and the programs that they need. This is your everyday partner in your pocket for wellness. But only a quarter of our members and a quarter of our audience knew that we had an app. So we quickly made the app core to our creative, showcasing new and exciting features that make your journey easier, simpler to follow, and personalized to you. We focused in on specific things that actually would help you meal plan. With a what's in your fridge feature, you could just type in a few ingredients you had in your fridge and it would serve you up recipes that use those ingredients. So you didn't have to think about what you were cooking for dinner that night or waste food that would have gone unused. We added personal assessments, so we actually connected with people and how you think and feel. And in January, we launched a future generation of coaching called Digital 360, where you get a chef, a personal trainer, and a mindset coach all wrapped up into one program powered by our app, which targets a new audience interested primarily in health and wellness, but still want weight loss at their core. So these three things that we did paid off in dividends. We've actually seen at the end of 2020 year-on-year growth from what started out as a potentially dire year and actually flip in our overall business mix. We are now actually 70% digital and 30% physical. So what have we learned and how are we going into 2021 with our eyes wide open? Well, we're taking these learnings from 2020 with us. Risk-taking pays off. How do we keep an element of this alive in our future plans? Agility is required to stay ahead and survive. We're still leaning into our weekly consumer trackers. We're still trying to stay fleet of foot with our agencies and our internal partners in order to be able to shift our spend at a moment's notice, to be able to optimize those channels that are working and change our creative to lean into the ever-changing consumers' thinking as we go into this 21st of June freedom. And finally, continuing to innovate. So we're constantly looking at ways to find new ways to simplify our message, simplify our product, create a frictionless journey from app to coaching, to give everybody experiences that continue to support their health and wellness journey. So thank you for your time. Hope that was insightful and a little bit of our brand. And now I think we can open up to questions.
Tony, that was fantastic. Thank you so much and good to see you. So let me ask a question first. I found that really inspiring. And again, my initial opening comments today about how agility, and experimentation is so important in the last year. But you're now 70% digital and you've learned how to innovate faster and experiment faster. But on June 21st, what happens if the world flips back to normal rapidly? People are going to want those physical face-to-face interactions again. So how quickly can you or should you flip back to the old ways?
Absolutely. I mean, we're grappling with that right now as we speak. We are looking to open up our workshops when we can, aligned with government guidance. So from the middle of April, we're going to open what we call express workshops, where people can go and get a shortened version of what their traditional workshop was. They can see their coach, they can go for a weekly check-in, they can meet with other members that they potentially have missed community with, but then complement that with what we're now calling unlimited virtual workshops. So we've opened up the fact that they can actually tap into any workshop around the country that suits their needs. So we're pushing actually a dual partnership with virtual and the physical. And we're working through that now so that we'll be ready when the world opens again, and really leaning into consumer sentiment to understand what consumers want and expect.
Excellent. Question here from Parisa, who asks, how surprised were you that the strength of your brand meant you could transition so seamlessly into digital services? Were you surprised that your consumers wanted these things in the first place?
Absolutely. I mean, it just really was a firm ground that we are a technology company at the core. We're powered by digital, but we relied on the physical experience. Digital was always in our North Star. We wanted to actually transition to a digital first business. And I think what this was showed us that actually when push comes to shove, you actually put your mind to it and you can create amazing things. And so we had to in order to make the business survive. So definitely pleasantly surprised and really welcomed the interaction with consumers. They embraced it. There was a bit of teething problems at first, but you work through that and you improve and you constantly iterate. We knew that attendance started to lag a little bit, so we added live experiences in to kind of jolt new experiences and get people back into the mix. So yeah, it's pleasantly surprised and constantly learning and evolving.
Tony, amazing. Always great to see you. Lovely shirt. Out of time. Thanks so much for your presentation. Question answering. See you again soon, Tony. Thank you very much.